Nora, the little thing isn't going. You know, the thing that lets me know if you're running or not. I know you can read lips, Nora. I'm right here. 2 years. 2 years on from gold morning. 2 years. 2 years on from gold morning. Bloody Americans. This is Vermont Stretch Radio, brought to you live from the snowy mountains of Earth Gimel. Brought to you live from the heart of the Gimel Mountains. Brought to you from the heart of the Vermont Stretch. Brought to you from that one place all but abandoned by law while the heroes go and lay claim to little bits and pieces of that ridiculous megacity of theirs. Megacity Gimel. The megalopolis. Who the fuck is going to call that thing a megalopolis? Too long a name by far. Too awkward. Too American. It's a city that stretches from Boston to New York in the fallout of the destruction of the old world. Mega City Gimel. Sorry, Nora. Just talking to myself again. That helps. Well, it does. It's a way for me to pass the time. Did you hear about the navigators, actually? To pieces. Yeah. Unable to die either. Constant pain. People are saying it's like a new Slaughterhouse 9. I know. How do you think I'd feel about that? It's not exactly making the whole cold turkey thing any easier, and apparently they're keeping it from the press, which I don't exactly agree with, but then again, what would I know? I'm not exactly a hero. Do you know if this counts as me being a rogue cape? I mean, I know you were a rogue cape and all, but that was more of a career sort of thing than just another career with rogue slapped on top of it. I suppose the difference is that a rogue cape is using their power in the service of their job, rather than working a job that isn't actually affected by any powers that they have. It'd be like if you were a DJ, Nora. Well, I mean, you'd make a very good DJ, Nora. I've been meaning to say thank you, actually, for the new microphone. It is a lot better. Well, for you coming back to, it makes things a lot easier knowing someone has my back. It's easy to talk a lot about how self-sufficient one is, but that's just sort of lonely. And, of course, we've been broadcasting. It's just the light that's off. Well, sorry, listeners, for all of that you've just had to hear. Did you expect any less of a cock-up? Welcome, dear listeners, to Stretch Radio Vermont, killing to you from the broadcast of Gimel Mountain. We bring you the news you don't need to survive in the outskirts of Megacity Gimel, where survivors of the world's end are pleasantly living their lives, as opposed to the news that people need to survive inside Megacity Gimel, where survivors of the world's end are slaughtered willy-nilly by careless heroes, and the few houses that do exist are regularly demolished by villains and an uncaring government. In ecological and pathological news, a fresh outbreak of brain-eating fungus has spread amongst some of the refugees from Earthbait, after careless teenagers were found attempting to use infected mushrooms recreationally. Be on the lookout for any of the following symptoms in the people around you. Irritated eyes, bleeding from the eyes, a white film sort of growing in the corner of the eyes, like foaming at the mouth, but sort of for your eyes, and then the beginnings of mushrooms growing from the eyes. In other world news, Earth Supreme, formerly the domain of the parahuman goddess, is now under the joint control of birdcage inmate Marquis and his daughter Panacea. Marquis was a noted gentleman who refused to harm women and had the ability to manipulate bone, while his daughter, Panacea, was jailed for sexual assault with a parahuman ability and can create diseases that alter the brain's chemistry. Finally, in today's S-Class threat news, the former Slaughterhouse-9 member Breed has made a bit of a comeback, or rather those little bugs of his are, some having apparently survived the climactic battle shortly before the end of the world, and having made their way past the slipshod quarantine of Earth Bait, where not even refugees desperate to escape the irradiated landscape have been able to do, and proceeded to live a brief and short-lived, acid-spewing rampage through the mean streets of New York Gimel, killing for and destroying a monument to those lost in the tragedy of Gold Morning. Funds are presently being raised to replace the destroyed monument. It's a short day for News Today listeners, but really when communications are almost non-existent with the European settlement, and all known entertainment, financial and government institutions are presently under the control of a single cabal, that's about all we can hope for finding out about any important new stuff. Thank you for tuning in, listeners. Thank you, and is it morning or night? AM or PM? This is the problem with a sleep schedule like my own. Right. No, we'll have to call the broadcast there. Are you sure you can turn it off? Okay. La la da 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 la da da. La da 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 la da da. La da 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 da. This was a fan production. Worm, Ward, and the Parahuman series are all owned and written by John Wildbow McRae. You may find Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and Ward at parahumans.net. Parahumans.net. Thank you for listening, listeners.